Okay, let's dive into this set of sources you send over. Looking at them, it's not like traditional articles, is it? It feels more like, well, a snapshot of what people were actually searching for, all around the Chrisleys and this whole pardon idea.
Yeah, it's exactly it. Yeah,
Yeah.
these sources, they really give us a direct window into the specific words, the names that were, top of mind in the public discussion.
Right.
You see Todd Chrisley, Julie Chrisley, and right away the context pops up. Chrisley knows best, the reality show couple. But then things shift pretty fast.
So our goal here isn't necessarily to relitigate their case or anything, but more to unpack what this pattern, this landscape of terms, tells us about the conversation itself. What were people actually zeroing in on?
Precisely. What questions were driving all that interest? And I mean, it's striking how quickly it jumps from just identifying them, Todd and Julie, to their legal situation.
Huh.
The sources clearly show searches like Todd and Julie Chrisley charges and Todd and Julie Chrisley sentence. So the core interest, you can see, was really tied up in their legal problems.
And then you get this one word that just seems to dominate everything. Pardon. It's everywhere, isn't it? Chrisley pardon, Todd Chrisley pardon, Chrisley's pardon, like every possible way you could phrase it.
It really is. And what's fascinating, I think, isn't just the word pardon itself, but who it gets linked to so strongly in these sources.
You mean?
We see these really specific terms connecting it straight to former President Trump. Things like Trump pardons Chrisley, or the question, did Trump pardon the Chrisleys? Even why did Trump pardon Todd Chrisley?
Right, okay, that connection is pretty significant. It suggests the public conversation immediately sort of framed any chance of a pardon through that specific lens, through Trump's history, right?
Yeah,
People are even asking, who did Trump pardon today, kind of in the same breath. It points to this public expectation, maybe, or at least speculation based on his past actions.
absolutely. And just for context, a pardon. The U.S. federal system, it's this act of executive clemency from the president, essentially forgiving an offense. The sheer number of searches tying Trump specifically to a Chrisley pardon, that reveals a very, very specific point of public focus.
So beyond just the pardon talk, which was obviously huge, the sources also show people were really interested in their actual, physical status. Where are they now?
Oh, definitely. You see searches like Julie Chrisley released, Todd Chrisley released, and just plain, are the Chrisleys out of jail?
Right.
People were clearly trying to track, are they still incarcerated? When might they get out? And tied right into that was this sense of anticipation about a public statement, terms like Todd Chrisley press conference popping up.
Like what happens next if they do get out?
Exactly. What's the first thing they'll do or say?
And it wasn't just Todd and Julie in the spotlight either, was it? The sources pull in other family members too. I saw Savannah Chrisley, Chase Chrisley, others mentioned.
Yeah, the interest definitely spread to the wider family circle. And interestingly, we also see Alice Marie Johnson, or sometimes just Alice Johnson, appear in this mix.
Oh, that's interesting. Why her?
Well, Alice Johnson, she received a very high-profile pardon from Trump, right? Her name showing up here in this contest around the Chrisleys suggests the public might have been, drawing parallels.
Ah, using her case as a sort of reference point.
Possibly, yeah. Or maybe just thinking about precedent when considering if a Chrisley pardon was even plausible. It shows how these public conversations can link different events together.
And finally, we see mentions of actual news outlets, Fox News, CNN, U.S. Weekly, which tells us where these discussions were likely being fueled or reported.
Right, it grounds it all in the media cycle. So if you sort of connect all these dots, this collection of terms, it gives us a really clear map.
A map.
A map of the public's immediate concerns about the Chrisleys at that time. Their legal situation first and foremost. Then this intense focus on one specific potential path to relief, a Trump pardon. Then their actual release status and what might happen next, like a press conference. It's a fascinating snapshot, really, of how celebrity and the justice system intersect in the public eye.
So tying this all together for you listening, what this deep dive into the raw search data shows us is pretty clear. When well-known people face legal trouble, public interest doesn't just stick to the basic facts of the case.
No, it branches out immediately.
Yeah.
Into very specific areas of speculation, specific questions people have, and often those questions get tied into broader political context or past events, like we saw with the Trump pardon link.
It really gives you a window into what aspects of these celebrity legal dramas truly capture and, well, hold the public's attention.
Yeah, which angles generate the most heat, so to speak.
So here's something to think about. How does this intense focus on things like a potential pardon, the specific questions about release dates, the linking to figures like Trump or Alice Johnson, how does all that shape our perception? What does this level of fascination tell us about how we view celebrity, justice, and maybe the possibility of second chances in the public square?